he had a weird, like, Kamala Harris profile picture. I got excited, and then he decided he was a fucking coward. Sorry. Okay, sorry. KY was just crying in another live. What? Will Trent for president? Funny. There's a lot of you people in here. 2,400. Kamala Harris supports genocide. Where was that? Fine. We'll do that. All right, Sabrina.
Hello?
Hi.
I've never been on one of these before.
Welcome.
Hello. Did you put me on the live because I said that Kamala Harris is pro-genocide?
Yeah.
I mean, not only has she taken money from AIPAC and has been pretty open that she's taken money from AIPAC, but she's also been one of those people that have said, Israel is one of our biggest allies. They're our ally in the Middle East. And by saying that, she's literally admitting she's an imperialist. Saying, yeah, we got these white people in the Middle East that are going to help us extract these resources. And so I'm not going to vote for Trump. I'll be insane. He's also pro-genocide and pro-Israel. But I have a problem with people, especially in the Democratic Party, not willing to at least, like in the very least, weaponize their vote and say if you don't take a stance that is in line with the Democratic Party's stance, like viewpoints, that we will not vote for you, instead of just feeding into this fear-mongering that the Democratic Party is constantly pushing upon us, especially people of color, that, oh, the other party is worse. So vote for us because, the other guys, they want to kill you and take away all your rights.
It is worse. They are worse. By every measure, they are worse for the people that you are weaponizing against the Democratic Party. What's the split, you think, Democratic, Republican voter base in America?
What do you mean?
50-50, 45-45, what do you think?
I mean, I think it would vary within demographics. I think that
the hope that you have of enacting this violent revolution on behalf of Palestine in America, which, let me reiterate, I don't disagree with on principle. This thing that you are counting on is that everyone in America is ready to burn the system down. And I'm telling you right now that somewhere in the vicinity of 46% of America don't agree with you that you should have rights to your own uterus, let alone the idea that we should dismantle the two-party system based on our treatment of Palestine. So this thing that you think this amazing French Revolution is coming over the hill, it's not even on the thoughts of
I don't believe
people.
it's going to happen anytime soon because,
okay.
I mean, I did my dissertation on this. Revolutions do not happen unless there is a foot on people's necks. There is no other choice.
So you would like to apply that foot on people's necks and hope that the people's necks...
No, that's not what I said. I said, I know very well that the American people, myself included, love their comforts. And just like when you study like the Iranian Revolution, those people didn't enact that revolution until they had no other choice. People want safety for themselves and for their family members. So they're not willing to enact big, huge revolutions that include violence. You want to talk about the
U.S.'s involvement in the Iranian uprising?
Huh?
Do you want to talk about the U.S.'s destabilization of Iran when they did that, or?
I mean, we can. I mean, the destabilization of basically every country in the Middle East.
It behooves. Every time we talk about this sort of like, how dare you ask us what the solution is, in the face of this, when like, American rights are literally couldn't be more at stake here, and like this sort of again, understandable moral posturing about this, without any sort of actual forethought, is frustrating for a lot of us.
But this idea of like, we gotta save our own skin before theirs is pretty insane, because it's all interconnected. I mean, you're talking about our rights being taken away, but like, if you look about the state of like black people in this country and what's happening, the very people that we are supporting in Israel and those system of oppressions, they are bringing it over here. The IDF is training. The IDF trains the NYPD. The police state, they are also being trained by the IDF.
I don't know how you can.
You don't know how I can what?
I had a point to talk about this, but it's gone from me now. What happens?
What happens?
What happens?
What happens when what?
When we don't elect this lesser of two evils, what happens?
But here's the thing that I'm saying. I'm saying that we are not fully participating in our own democracy.
Nope. What happens when we don't elect the lesser of two evils in this instance?
But I began this by saying I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
You didn't say that.
I did. I said I'm not voting for Trump.
That is not the same.
Problem.
That is not the same. Because there are plenty of people. There are plenty of people sitting here saying, "I'm going to vote third party. I'm voting for Joe Stein. I'm voting for Joe Stein. Let it happen. It's more important to me that my morality is protected than like safeguarding against like."
But honestly, can you blame those people?
Nope. That's what I said that a bunch of times here, which is an understandable position, but it also is not based in the current reality in which we live. And also, this sort of like, as a white dude, I don't know if you could tell, it is not really my place to say that like people of color in this country are doing fine and that there is no oppression. It's not my position at all. It's not my position that like this, you guys should just keep suffering or like dealing with it not being as good as it should be for people of color in this country. It's not my position. This conflation between what we have now and what some people in this country aim to make it is a false equivalence. And what I mean by that is,
I agree.
And what I mean by that is people sit here and go, we're all suffering under fascism right now. It doesn't matter either way. And I don't think that people grasp how wrong that is. And all you have to do is look at other current superpowers on Earth and say, if I defame the government, do I disappear into Siberia? If I say something that is, what happened? Internal service area error. If I wave a pride flag, am I disappeared? That is what the right wing, the far right wing, who has like envisioned. That is what we're talking about. And so when we say that like we're suffering under fascism, kinda, but also not really. Okay, and that's the fear, and when people say that like that's being hyperbolic, you're fear mongering, blah blah blah, bullshit, because it doesn't.
It's not bullshit because it is a consistent. I'm not. First off, let me say I'm not belittling. Project 2025. I'm not belittling what the Republican Party has in plans if they get another president. We are president in power. We are already seeing the effects of that with the Supreme Court and how it is a conservative Supreme Court because of Trump. We are already seeing the effects of that, let alone if they get another Republican in office. But what I'm saying is, I just lost my train of thought. What I'm saying is, it is not a full participation in democracy. And I mean, even when you study, because I was a political science major, when you study political science, even political scientists are predicting that the two-party system is not going to last another 5 years. That people are incredibly disheartened with this idea because they are realizing that they truly do not have any choice. That this democracy that has been...
But to say that on the heels of saying like it's happening and not placing the blame of why it's happening at the feet of the people that are doing it, and then tacitly sort of like saying, I mean, you're not, but there are plenty of people that share your opinion who say, these are the same. And when you mention the Supreme Court, like that is not a Democratic or the Democrats Party's plan. It is through their inaction, sure, or incompetence, fine.
What's not the Democratic Party's plan?
The packing of the Supreme Court to what we have now. That was a Republican, obstructionist Republican denial of Merrick Garland. I know, but to lay that at the feet of anyone else but the Republicans and say that
which is what I said.
I know, but not really. I think there is not the acknowledgement that is like.
I literally just said that I would not vote for them because we are already witnessing the effects of what they had done with the last president, let alone if they were to get another president, Republican president, into the White House. What I'm saying, though, is this idea of like the problem that I have is the majority of Democrats largely being white people, and this is the conversation that has been had, lots of people of color, especially like me, I'm Arab, having this conversation of being like, well, I have a bit of a problem with none of us willing to weaponize our votes and tell Kamala Harris, you will not get our vote if you do not change your stance. This idea of we're so scared about what the other side's going to happen that we're going to forget about everything and all throw morality outside the window because Kamala Harris is going for presidency. I don't think it's a full participation in democracy.
I don't think that we ever get... Sometimes we just don't get that choice.
But it's not sometimes, it's always.
Okay, I don't think we ever get that choice.
So then what democracy are we really participating in?
Not a perfect one.
Well, one that's starting to resemble less and less one.
But who is to blame for that?
What do you mean, who's to blame for that?
Why is it becoming less and less of a democracy?
Because people in power have their own self-interests. And that's the bottom line. I mean, you can talk about, like, just the way voting was set up in general, like the way that it's outlined in the Constitution of how we vote and how we elect. But I think in general, like, this is just what happens. And I mean, we were talking about this before. As we start to get further and further down the line, people are going to get more and more disheartened until, like, the system has to collapse. Which obviously we're not at that point, and I agree with that we're not at that point. Because again, in order to get to that point, all of people's comforts have to go out the window. There has to be no other option but to rebel against whatever. I don't even know what that would look like because we're the most militarized government in the world. But
here's my take. Instead of this sort of like defeatist position, things change if 2/3 of the House and Senate are flipped, and if you would like to do that, we can abolish the Electoral College, which is a holdover from fucking slavery. We can introduce ranked choice voting, which will give a third party more of a foothold. We can make it statistically possible for a third party to win in that instance. Guess what we can't fucking do if we don't vote anymore? If we no longer are engaged in democracy because the guy that we sort of just like allowed to take power because of our moral positioning outlaws voting for a couple of years, just says, you know what, we've had enough. I'm going to consolidate presidential power, and I can do that because the Supreme Court, which I installed, says that I can. Instead of this sort of like holding this person hostage, we could instead vote even more people in. I don't know.
What do you mean holding this person hostage?
With your vote.
You
Holding
mean
your vote hostage.
democracy?
Holding your vote hostage.
Telling the person who's asking for your vote you have to earn it?
I agree. But I'm saying in our current position, in the current reality in which we find ourselves, it is more precarious than we've ever experienced.
And in the next 4 years, when they need your vote again, they're going to tell you that it's more precarious than it's ever been.
You can say that.
And that's why you should vote with us without
but the issue is we can look at
in return.
The issue is we can go and look at that and go, actually, no, this is actually physically, verifiably the most precarious it's ever been. Never have we had somebody that tried to steal an election.
That's what they said in 2016. Do you disagree? That's not what they were saying in 2016?
What is the common denominator in 2016 and 2020?
Trump.
And now?
Another Trump will arise.
And now?
And in the next 4 years.
They weren't saying that in 2000 and 2008.
No. And another Trump will come out of the woodworks.
Correct.
And they will weaponize this idea of we are better than them, and you need to vote for us, and you should vote for us without question, because we're never going to actually feed into your demands.
Unless this energy that goes into just deciding to withhold your vote goes into actually voting down ballot and changing and just sweeping these people out of office. No, it won't. We'll just keep doing this in perpetuity. You're right, but if we don't do that,
you can finish the sentence.
I just thought it was pretty self-explanatory. We can just like enact the change that you are after.
But this conversation, this idea of picking the lesser of two evils, this was a problem that we were having in the last election. And everyone was talking about, we don't want to pick lesser of two evils. And then this, what you're saying, is exactly what they told us. Well, we know to vote for this better guy so that we can actually work on fixing our democracy, because the other guy doesn't believe in democracy.
What was the common denominator?
I'm not denying that it's Trump, but
yes,
another
I know,
Trump.
But you are kind of denying it tacitly because you're saying like they just do this every time. This has been an unprecedented fucking decade for us, where we had somebody who is living outside the rule of law, who is just trying to force and restructure the government to benefit him and his friends. It is a new fucking threat that we're facing.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
And also this idea that we get to vote for somebody who we are excited about every fucking time is just not true.
No, at the bare minimum, aligned with the majority of the party.
But that's not true, Sabrina. I've been alive a kind of a long time, and so the only time I voted for somebody I liked in all the elections that I voted for is Obama. The only time I was like psyched about it was Obama. Every other election I participated in, both Bushes and a Trump and another Trump, I voted against the candidate that I didn't like. That is, and I bet you $1 billion going down the history books, everybody participates the same way. So
except this time, the deal breaker is the worst human carnage we have seen in our lifetime. I don't know how old you are in my lifetime.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
So
it would be terrible for all women and minorities if Trump were to take office. Absolutely right. It would be the worst carnage ever. Correct.
Did you just take what I was talking about?
Yep,
Palestine?
sure did, and flipped it around. Nope.
Are you insane?
Nope.
Are you talking about a real life body stacked versus figurative?
Nope. I'm
need
talking
you to
about
be
real.
for real.
I'm talking about real women who will die as a result of this.
And I'm talking about real women who have died. They are dead. They are dying.
I understand that. It's fucking horrific. There's no. I've been very
But
clear
that's
about.
horrific. So because the women you're thinking about come from the Middle East.
Nope.
Like.
That is not my
What
position.
do you mean? I don't understand how
We are voting in the American election. We are voting in the American election. We are voting in the American election. That is what we're doing.
And our American tax dollars are paying for that. An American election where the government who is perpetuating that genocide has a large lobbying group that has large pockets in our politicians.
I don't understand the disconnect here.
What do you mean the disconnect? The disconnect is I was talking about the worst human carnage we've ever seen, and you just said, yeah, the worst human carnage may be something that's going to happen.
Do you not?
I'm talking about
Are you
actual
denying
bodies
this?
piled up.
I understand
Literally
that.
scrolling on my TikTok.
I understand
seeing
that.
Headless babies. And you're
Sabrina,
telling me-
weaponizing this shit against what we're actually fucking talking about. I don't know. I understand this, but it's also like it is. We are facing a existential threat here, and it's going to happen to women here, and minorities here, and gay people here.
And the minorities and the gay people and the women that you are talking about are the number one people who are saying the point that I'm saying. Because they understand that it is all interconnected. What's happening in Gaza is connected to what happens here.
I agree with you. It doesn't discount the reality, though. It does not change the reality. There are plenty of women and minorities.
Said that in the chat. I literally said in my lifetime.
There are plenty of women and minorities that disagree with you deeply and intensely. There are some of them begging to come up here.
Did you just turn off my mic?
Yeah, you just talk about something else now.
I'm not talking about something else. I'm talking about the very much thing that we're talking about.
You were talking about the chat.
Yeah, because somebody said that I compared what's happening in Gaza to the Holocaust. And I was like, I said in my lifetime. I'm not that old, guys.
Okay. We have 90 fucking days to this election. That's kind of where I'm coming from.